Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here in Foley Square, today, Friday, January 5th, 2024. Now, the court has opened up in earnest. There was obviously a lull around the holidays, but there are many trials that are going to begin Monday, and we've started attending the final pretrial conferences for them. So we're going to do a little curtain raiser on two of them. One of them is civil. One of them is kind of very high-minded. It involves a Russian billionaire, sometimes referred to as an oligarch, Mr. Rybal-Ovlev, Dmitry Rybal-Ovlev. He bought $2 billion worth of art, mostly from Sotheby's and through a middleman, including one for $475 million. Now he's sued Sotheby's, having settled with the middleman, and he sued Sotheby's for tricking him, for claiming that inflating the price of these pieces of art. So there were we were there yesterday for the final pretrial conference in front of Judge Furman. There was a lot of fights. There were a lot of fights about whether a deputy, an associate of the oligarch or billionaire could be referred to as a lieutenant, with the plaintiff saying that makes it seem like it's organized crime, and the judge saying, no, it's a military term, it can be used. Then there was a dispute about the middleman or a middleman's income records from 2012. This goes back some time, whether it could be described as missing or withheld. He said, no, that's going to lead the jury to believe that something was done wrong. Just say unavailable. So these are the kind of things. And there's also a witness that can only sit for 2.5 hours at a time. This is going to be justified in some secret filing because it's going to make it more harder to really do the zingers on cross-examination. So there's that one. There's also another highfalutin one, Dagar. Yes, Pfizer insider trading. And yesterday the high-minded argument was that it's not insider trading or the use of material non-public information if you know that a press release is coming out, if you don't know the content. Now, the government said, it's pretty clear that the content of this Pavlovid thing was going to be positive. That's why they're putting it out. But it is true that companies put out negative press releases. So that will be kicking off as well. Of course, there's the real crimes that we cover. We covered here one, Edwin Pozo. This goes back to, I think, last winter. There was a smoke shop robbery in the Bronx, not high profile. One of the co-defendants was jailed over last holiday when Bankman-Fried was out. That, of course, got reversed. He's still in. Now they're both in jail. But who's out is one of the co-defendants, and his lawyer is trying to get him to not go to jail based on a diversion program, even though he had a gun. Basically, these youth young adult opportunity program seems to preclude people with guns, and that's the dispute in that case. So these are the things. This is the nitty gritty of the courts over here. And the great thing about it is that you can go into any courtroom that you want, and when things are sealed, you can file to unseal them, as we've done with Paduch, as we did with Cologne, as we did with Bankman-Fried, as we did with Avenatti, who has an appeal today in the Second Circuit. And they at least consider it, and often you get things unsealed. By contrast, at the United Nations, if they don't like your coverage, they rough you up and ban you, and then refuse to answer written questions. And then, in any event. So this week we've put in questions to the two fill-in spokespeople. The big guy, Antonio Guterres, Stefan Dagar, nobody knows where they are. But there was a woman named Florencia Soto. There was a woman named Soto Tremblay. They get paid all year round, and this is their big Super Bowl where they're actually the ones answering the questions. And did you know what? Yesterday, Ms. Soto Tremblay took 3 questions inside the briefing. I couldn't find time to answer written questions from Inner City Press about not only Gaza, but also the Qatar bribes of Menendez revealed here in the Southern District of New York. So that's the United Nations for you today. Totally corrupt. But we're going to keep banging on that door, 2024. Inner City Press, we continue.